Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to your social studies lesson. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how our country, the United States of America, first began. Okay, so we're going to go back a little bit. Remember when we were in school, we talked about that our country began with 13 colonies. They were not states yet. And those 13 colonies were under British rule. King George was in charge of all of them. And remember then the colonists wanted to break away from English rule, and therefore the Revolutionary War began. And we talked about that because George Washington, we know, was a general in the Revolutionary War. And the colonists won the war, and we were free from British rule. But now the 13 colonies had no leader. No one was in charge. And so they decided that someone needed to be in charge, but they didn't want it to be someone like a king. So we're going to start with the word government. A government is a group of elected leaders that make laws and important decisions that affect people living in a community, state, or nation. So back then they wanted to form a government, right? Because we didn't have one yet. So first of all, we have the Declaration of Independence, which I know we've talked about before, and we know that's a document declaring our independence and freedom from English rule. Benjamin Franklin helped edit this document, and he also signed it. The original writer of the Declaration of Independence was Thomas Jefferson, who was our third president, and he wrote that document, and Ben Franklin helped edit it. That means he helped to change some of the words and maybe change some of the sentences to make it sound the way they both wanted it to sound. Then another important document we have here is the Constitution. The Constitution is a document that tells rules and laws to help our government work. It also lists the rights of all Americans. Ben Franklin helped to write this document, and he also signed it. This document was written in the year 1787. So back then, after the Revolutionary War was over, many of the colonists got together in Philadelphia in Independence Hall, 55 of them to be exact, and those men were called the Framers. The Framers were a group of 55 men that came together to agree what should be written in the Constitution. Okay? And so the Framers took many, many months to write the Constitution and decide what should be in it and decide what a president should do and who the president should be. So some of the Framers were George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, and James Madison, and of course many other gentlemen as well, but these were some of the more well-known ones. The Constitution is a document that protects our rights, and it states lots of different things. So to make it a little bit more clear for you, I wrote some of the things that it tells us. In the Constitution, it says that we can speak our opinions, right? Everyone has opinion, and they can say what their opinion is. To think for yourself. It keeps laws fair for all people. It states the rules for our police, and it lets us worship God in the way that we want to. It lets you read any newspaper that you want. It protects your house and your belongings, and it helps to keep us all safe. So the Constitution is still around today. What those framers made all those many years ago are still around today, and our government still uses those to help keep all Americans safe and free, and all of us to have equal rights. The actual original document of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are in a museum in Washington, D.C., of course under glass, and people can go visit that museum and actually see those original documents signed by all of those framers who did all that hard work. So today what I want you to do is go on RenWeb under Resources, and you're going to find a picture here of 3 of the framers, and down at the bottom here it says the framers agreed and signed the Constitution. Some of the framers were George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, and James Madison. I want you to color this picture, then of course put your name up at the top, and then please download this picture onto Homework Drop. Thank you.